back in the saddle again for another edition of the Dirty and Driven Podcast. My name is James DeVinny. I am your host on this fine, beautiful day today. And this is the show where we bring people to the blue-collar world and teach them how to kick ass. Our goal here is to gain, train, and retain solid, hardworking individuals in the blue-collar construction trades. Today, our topic is about just that. It's springtime. A lot of people are getting new jobs. A lot of people are picking up new employees. And we're going to talk to you, how you can be a good employee, somebody that can move up the ladder, somebody that can be valuable to that company, and kick ass. Before we get into that, we're going to have our normal level of bullshit that we always have on this podcast as well to keep you guys entertained. And today, as always, I'm joined by the notorious, wonderful, talented Casey D.
How are you?
I'm good today, man.
Good.
Yeah. It's I'm here, you know. Sometimes you just got to get here. That's half the battle.
Yeah, the toughest part is just to show up, walk through them doors.
Yeah. That was today. I did not want to get out of bed this morning.
Why? Why is that, James?
I was up late.
What were you doing?
I was rocking and rolling until like 3 a.m. And here we are now. Of course, now it's like what? Yeah, 9:30. Tough scene out here.
Were you playing that string or that instrument that only has a few strings?
Yeah. Well, the 5-string,
Yeah.
the thick 5-string guitar.
Do you ever use that 5th string?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah.
I just didn't know if it was for looks.
No, I like playing the 5-string bass because we play in a lot of different tunings. Mm-hmm. Like our guitar player has 4 different guitars every show, so he's got standard, half step, drop D, and a 7-string, and that way I don't have to. If there's a note, like if we're playing in half step or drop D, mm-hmm. I can hit that B string on top and not have to tune my bass down or have a second bass or something.
Do y'all play half step? When you say half step, you're talking about half down, right?
Yeah.
Like an E flat?
Yeah.
Do you play that more often than not, or?
No, we used to do more half step songs, but whenever we switched to being a 4-piece band, we had to get rid of a couple of them. But we've got a few. I mean, we've got, I'd say about a quarter of our sets half step.
It seems a lot of anytime I try to sing stuff, it's easier for me to do the half step down.
That's what a lot of people do live. So
Yep.
like there's one song we sing, it's Baby Said by Mainskin, Monoskin, however the fuck you say their name. Mm-hmm. And
Foreskin.
Yeah, Foreskin.
Yeah.
The recording, that one, like we tried to listen to it and our singer's like, dude, I can't hit those notes. And then he watched a YouTube video and he goes, well, let's just do the live version. And the live version was like a half step down,
Right.
which that's what a lot of singers do is they record it in the studio one way, but then they'll sing it a little further down.
Yeah.
And then you get your guys like Axl Rose and stuff that are like, you know, they play everything in half step because their voices are just so high as it is, you know. So yeah, that's the method behind that madness.
Was there a good showing last night? Good crowd?
Yeah, it was kind of an odd crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good crowd, but it was just odd, different, you know. It was a weird venue we were playing at. A lot of TVs and a lot of just other shit going on.
Was that the casino?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things that distract you. And, you know, it's just, I don't know, odd. Good. Odd. We sounded great.
How was it compared to playing at the sellout stadiums that y'all do?
The sellout stadiums are definitely a little more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like AT&T Stadium, 100,000 people. There's just, you can't beat that feeling, you know? Yeah.
Production value?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely get better production value in AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, budgets are bigger. You know, whenever you're getting paid millions of dollars to go play AT&T Stadium, you have a higher budget, whenever you're only making a few $100s playing at, a casino or a dive bar or something, it's you just can't bring all the fireworks and pyrotechnics and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But the intimate crowds, though, when you're playing the dive bars, is pretty cool, huh?
It's different, it makes you work harder. Like you've got to really learn, like you've got to work the crowd, because if you're not, then you're just background music. And if you're just background music, like you can sound the best you've ever sounded, and like a few people are vibing with it, but it's like they're just sitting there talking, not paying attention or dancing or anything. It's so learning that crowd work is it's an interesting game.
Nice.
Yeah. So I had to bring this up. You and I learned a bit of a expensive, complicated lesson, didn't we?
I guess expensive is subjective because the invoice hasn't been made yet.
Well, I mean, expensive because, obviously, I've got to pay you, but like also, you still spend a lot of time there for what will be necessary work at some point, but
yes,
for this time
scenario,
comparatively, we didn't check to see if there was gas in the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Is a good analogy.
And it could be expensive too, depending on if the certain inhabitant wants to use said scenario to not pay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So cut to the chase. James reached out to me. One of his rentals, God, dude, so many learning lessons, dude, here. One is communication.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude.
Like clear communication.
Not on our part, though.
Okay, so here, let's just start out. Tell me your initial message that you got.
There's a problem with the kitchen, problem underneath the kitchen sink.
Sink
something
won't
about
drain.
the drain. Yeah, the sink won't drain.
Sink won't drain.
Yeah.
So I get that call, go over there, assuming that maybe the P-trap or something simple, right?
Yeah.
That the sink's not draining. Talk with the renter, and the renter informs me that no, it's not the sink's not draining. The sink's not getting any water whatsoever. Oh.
Kind of the opposite.
Yeah, completely opposite, right? Drain, waste, vent, all that kind. Anyway, it's like, oh, okay. So I had to kind of reshift gears. So is there any other water to the house? Yeah, we have water to the bathroom and stuff, but not to the kitchen. How long has this been going on? It's been ever since it got super duper cold out. Really? But you do have water to the other part of the house.
And I would just like to put into context for people who are maybe listening in the future, not the week this comes out. This is February. Or
yes.
March now. It's March. Today's March 3rd, the day we're recording. And he's saying they haven't had water since Christmas in that sink.
Yes, I narrowed it down to...
In which nobody ever told me, the landlord. So...
But we got water in the other part of the house.
Yeah.
Dude, you probably got a busted water line underneath then if... I mean, I've heard water running. So totally different scenario, right? It's like, oh crap. So we got a busted water line underneath the house, and it's supposed to get cold tonight too. So I'm afraid it might freeze again. And well, word to the wise, until we can get to it, be sure to turn your heater up tonight. That way, just in case the water lines might freeze tonight, at least turn your furnace on. Well, here's the kicker. I had the gas turned off to the house. So you don't, how are you getting heat? I got electric heaters. Okay. So
First of all, rabbit hole, is that any cheaper? Is he really saving anything by running electric heaters instead of gas?
There's also, I noticed whenever I went to clean up said scenario, there's also a propane heater in the in the kitchen. You know, the ones like, a propane tank with the deal on top. But
Wait, for real?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, what?
I don't know if I got a picture of it or
Damn
not.
it, dude. Why didn't you tell me this?
Well, dude, there's so many
There's
things.
so many things. God dang it, dude. I'm glad this guy's moving out. Holy
Yeah, dude.
shit. Okay, carry on
And-
with the story.
Hey, what if he's listening to the show right now?
Well, good. All right. Fuck you, dude.
All right. So to hopefully speed up the story. So with the information that I have, water running when it got super duper cold, lost water, all water to the kitchen. But I also said, so how is the pressure to the bathroom? Well, it's less pressure, but we still got water there. Okay. So all signs point to a busted water line underneath the house. Okay. So I need to get underneath the house. Well, the kicker is there was no access to get underneath the house to this crawl space. There's vents to where there's blocks that are removed where you can actually have ventilation underneath there, but there never was access to physically crawl underneath the house. So I have I couldn't get like a big jackhammer to jackhammer out concrete, but I do have a small hammer drill jackhammer that could fit perfectly. Jackhammer out. That only got so far, so I ended up getting a 4.5-inch angle grinder and put a concrete blade on it. And so the idea was I needed to cut into the footing, do like these relief cuts into the footing, and then jackhammer out. And I spent about two or 3 hours doing that. Just saw, cut, wearing a mask and stuff because it's kicking up dust, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I finally get all of that cleaned out and stuff, and I could start army crawling through there. Well, I could only get so far. So anyway, took a break. And I decided, you know what? I need to go inside and see exactly what's going on, like with the kitchen, because there's a small possibility. I need to just make sure.
No, what happened during the break?
What do you mean?
Well, you got the crawl space all cut out and stuff, and then, well, I guess never mind. You went in the house before you called me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So now I'm getting ready to go into the house.
Yeah.
So I unlock the rear door. I got shit to do, man. I got a lot of stuff I got a lot of work to do. And right once I open the rear door to get into the house, there is a good film of dust throughout the whole floor, the whole walls, the whole furniture, the whole washer and dryers, the whole everything. All of that concrete dust that I was sawing was going up through this old home's nooks and crannies and just coating the whole damn house with this concrete dust. The whole house. I got pictures of it. I sent you one.
Yeah. Dude. Everything. And this tenant is a neat freak. I will point out.
Yeah, that's one good thing.
Yeah.
Is a neat freak. Yes. Yeah. Fortunately, the tenant is gone for a few days, supposedly. But now I got to rearrange. Now I got to re-gear everything to do. This is an emergency. Hurry up! I need to clean this thing up ASAP.
Yeah.
Go get my shop vac. Go get cleaning supplies and stuff. Wipe down the floors. Wipe down the washers and dryers and stuff. Wipe down the bathroom. All through the kitchen. Go into the living room, which is kind of like pleather seats and stuff. Wipe all of that stuff down. Wipe down the end tables. I didn't touch the big screen TV because that's kind of you just don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is somebody else's house, right?
Yeah.
And it's a 1-bedroom house. The bedroom door to the bedroom was closed, and I was like, for one, I'm not going to go in there because that's invasion of privacy. I've done enough, right?
Yeah.
But it should be good because the bedroom door is the bedroom is on the opposite side of the house. Plus, the door was closed. So you figure that's probably somewhat safe, right? Needless to say, I leave. I give James a call and said, dude, I sent him a picture. I sent him a picture before, after, anyway, get the whole thing cleaned up. And James and I start brainstorming. I said, dude, I've only gotten halfway to where this supposed leak is, and I can't even get there yet because all of the plumbing lines underneath, the electric lines that are hanging down, all of this stuff, it's just tough for me to get through. But we do have access underneath now. So James and I start brainstorming, and you might have brought it up that dude, do you even think, what if it's, because I was like, dude, I don't see any water outside. Like, literally, if this thing's been leaking water for over a month and a half almost, you would physically see it outside. And I was like, dude, I don't even hear it running. And you were like, dude, do you think maybe the screen or whatever, the little water saver is clogged up on the...
Yeah, because I'd helped my friend with plumbing, and we told the story on the show a long time ago, but I'd helped him fix his plumbing line. Like, there was a deal where, I don't know, I think you said something that made me go, well, do you think that, because you're like, there's no water anywhere, and I was like, I don't hear it, I don't see water, and I said, do you think that the aerator could be clogged up? And you're like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, and then I remembered back about that same time that freeze happened. I said, the city put on Facebook that they were coming around changing water meters out and to flush your bathtub or faucet first, not, after they replace your water meter. And you go, fuck.
Yeah. So part of communication, the information that I had from what I was going off from him, all signs pointed to a busted water line.
Right.
Well, by the time I got everything wiped up, cleaned up, I went over to literally the kitchen faucet and I unscrewed it. Then first I tried to turn it on. No water came out. End up screwing the aerator on it. Turn it on. Water came out perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah.
It was the aerator deal the whole damn time. And I had created dust problems. Now the renter sent you a message saying, hey, by the way, dude, I know your guy wasn't supposed to be inside, but there's dust. there's dust on my TV. There's dust in my bedroom. And
oh, geez, man. That was... Yeah, all we can do is laugh about it, right?
Yeah. So long story short, this is a learning lesson for me and hopefully for anybody listening. When you go in to get your vehicle worked on or whatever, it's not like before you remove the engine and everything, make sure that there's oil in it or make sure that there's gas in it. Do the very obvious, the very obvious, yeah. Yeah, the very simplest task first before you concrete grind, find dust and all, dude.
Which the bad thing is, if it was any one of the other houses that you work on, crawl space would have already been there. You would have gone under there.
Yes.
And been like, well, but it's just in this. It's just I don't even know if I believe in perfect storms anymore because they just happen so frequently. You always hear about the perfect storm, and I'm like, you know what? I think that us humans are really good at creating perfect storms. I think that we're so good at creating, you had information that sounded like a leaky line. And, especially because they don't have heat, it happened about that same time period. There hasn't, there's no water there. Like the faucet outside was leaking a little bit. It was just a whole deal. And then, okay, now we don't have crawl space access. We got to get to the crawl space whenever. And I know why you didn't check it in the beginning because you wanted to be in that house as little as possible with those people because they're so fucking weird.
Yes, that too. That's a tough thing about working around people is you try to limit the time that you're inside around certain situations,
especially whenever they're just goofballs like this guy. And this is a guy that I bought the house with the renter, and
yeah,
that was a tough
prepackaged deal.
Prepackaged.
And normally, if a sink aerator gets clogged up, it happens slowly over time, right? Where you slowly get to where there's no water coming out.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, probably the city was doing a lot of work. And then whenever they put the lines back in service, there might have been, some soil or contaminants in the line that probably did it and all at once just clogged up certain fixtures.
Yeah, and they also did two major water line repairs, like 10 or 12-inch mains, right, around that same time period. So it could have been any of those factors that actually caused the clog. But also, if you're a renter and you have issues like that, I get that not everybody's as good of a landlord as I probably am, but still tell your landlord, please.
Yeah, I had almost good 3/4 of a day work, and literally it was 30 seconds.
Yeah.
30 seconds of this is it.
Yeah.
Literally 30 seconds to find the issue compared to being a tunnel rat. But we're glass half full guys, and we need access underneath that house anyway for the future. So we have access now.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully we don't fuck around under the house.
Hopefully not, but I foresee it's got CPVC lines, it's got galvanized lines, it's got PEX lines.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows, man? It's just owning old houses is a trip. But you know what, dude? I'm thankful to be in a position in life where I get to have those problems. You know what I mean?
First world problems.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like there's a lot of people that don't even own a house, and I'm thankful to even get to have these fun little problems. I'm sure there's so many people listening like, these motherfuckers are so stupid. What do you? Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, if you're listening, you can see the dust if you check out the YouTube.
Damn. I tell you what, man, that concrete dust, if you're grinding or cutting on it, it is the most finest airborne stuff.
I'll tell you what, though, it is the best hair gel I've ever used.
It does, dude. It'll especially if you're sweating just a little bit too.
Yeah.
It'll cake it up.
Back whenever I would either if we were mixing concrete by hand or sawing concrete, you know, back whenever I was doing that often, or asphalt, I guess, any sort of hard paving, stone pavers, anything. Yeah, dude, that stuff gets all up in your hair, and yeah, even after you shower, like the next day, it's still just your hair. You brush it, and it holds, man. It is there.
Is it? I mean, obviously, it's probably not safe for the skin, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, silica dust definitely is dangerous. I mean, that's why you got to wear, you know, masks and stuff like that when cutting it. And a lot of guys don't, but you really should. I mean, I'm one of them, dude. I mean, believe me, I'm one of those guys that for a long time I was always, you know, especially whenever I was 18 to 20 years old, more like 15 to 20 years. Nah, I don't need no mask, you know. But now that I'm in a different position of life, I realize, man, that shit's pretty dangerous. So you should probably wear a mask.
Yeah, and I'm sure that chintzy little mask I was wearing was really doing a great job against it.
Seeing as it went all the way up through the nooks and crannies of this wood floor, it probably was going right through that mask. Kind of like other masks during other portions of the last few years that people were trying out. It probably just wasn't really doing much.
No. And dude, I'm telling you what, have you ever seen, I saw a deal, it was on TikTok or one of those things to where it shows like, you know, the size of a needle point, you know, then it keeps going down lower. You know what I mean? It keeps showing just for perspective on how small something is. And dude, by the time it got all the way down to, it showed like allergens. I mean, you start from here, you know, like if you do a comparison from Earth to the sun, you know how you go from sun, you know, it's small to big, you know what I mean, for perspective. If you get all the way down to like the coronavirus and stuff like that, it is the most minuscule of, you can't even fathom how small these viruses are or these allergens are compared to, meaning our stupid little paper masks and shit are not going to filter out that minuscule stuff.
I bet there's some dudes that could fathom how small that small is.
Micro dudes?
Micro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective, too, like I said. Find you somebody with small hands.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Micro hands.
Yeah, micro hands, and that way
you're covered.
That way everything else looks bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. Micro masks.
That story didn't come out that well, but anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, I was going to tell you on a separate deal, my granddaughters that did the old FaceTime the other day.
Yeah.
I sent them the video, our YouTube video of them. And because they didn't know anything about podcasts, right? They didn't know what podcasts were, but they know what YouTube is, right? And when they found out that they were on YouTube, I sent them that little segment when they were on there. Dude, they're like stars now.
How old are they?
I think you had to ask me. I think they're 6. Both of them are 6.
Yeah, dude. I remember I was a little older than that. I was probably like 10. And YouTube was still a pretty new concept. And I was in a school play or something in like the 4th grade. And somebody's mom had filmed with the old school handheld camera recorder. You know what I'm talking about, the old home video with the little screen that flips out. And she put she put this one song we sang on YouTube because her daughter was like the main character singing that song. And we were all just like, holy shit, we're on YouTube? You know, it was crazy. And that was back. Yeah, that was back whenever YouTube was still maybe only 2-3 years old.
Those are those keys, by the way.
You just hand me the keys. Yeah. You're done with them. You're washing your hands of these keys.
Hey, shout out to Garth Wood. Garth Wood.
Yeah, dude, I wanted to mention him.
Yeah.
Go for it.
No, he just co-worker of mine. He's got a good story to tell. Don't know a lot about Garth, but what I do know is he's on a badass journey from being pretty much out of shape, like a lot of us are, to just killing it right now. But he tagged Dirty and Driven Athletics, and
I was about to say, yeah, did you see his video that I shared this morning?
Oh, did you share it?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I saw that I think he tagged me in it maybe last night or so.
Yeah,
but, yeah, we shared it, and that's awesome, man. And I'm always appreciative whenever I see blue collar guys out there getting it like that. You know, they're especially like he had like a before and after picture. I mean, night and day.
Night and day.
So congrats, man. That's so cool to see that you're going on that journey and hopefully inspiring others around you to do the same. I'd
like to talk with him and find out when it clicked or what made him decide to do the 180 on taking care of himself.
Tell him to pull up.
Yeah, we need to.
Tell him. Here's your cordial invite, Garth.
Yep. Yeah, we can have him on. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Good deal.
No, that's cool, man. I love hearing stories like that. I think it's just so great. And, guys, I say it a lot, and, sometimes we get good response with it. Man, tag us in your workouts, especially on the weekends and stuff. Just, whenever other people are being fat turds, tag us in your workouts. Show us that you're working hard. That's the Dirty and Driven Athletics. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to be in shape. You don't have to be fit. You just got to show us that you're trying, man. Dirty and Driven Athletics is about just a regular dude that's or chick or whatever, just blue collar working person that's like, man, I want to do something. And maybe you're a truck driver and you decide I'm going to walk 100 yards for the first time in 10 years. Shit, man, tag us in it. Say, man, I'm trying. That's all we're asking. That's all a Dirty and Driven athlete is somebody who's working the blue collar life, living that blue collar lifestyle, but trying to make change in their life. I mean, because blue collar people are athletes, especially if you work a physically demanding job. Blue collar people are athletes. You have to show up, you have to perform physically every single day, and it's athletics, it's sports without the glory of cameras and all that good stuff. It's still competition, it's still teamwork, it's still achieving a goal, and you're still doing things physically. So yeah, tag us whenever you're doing stuff like that, and we'll share it to our story.
Yeah, I should have tagged myself while I was doing all that concrete dust, blowing all the concrete dust throughout the house.
Yeah.
Dude, you've seen people like that one guy. Remember that one guy I told you about that was painting the deal down here, the powwow grounds.
Oh yeah,
doing all that paint. He was just probably like, just getting it, just painting it. Then the wind, the drift was going over and hitting all them vehicles, and he was just.
I won't say how I know that guy, but you know how.
Yeah.
But I knew that guy.
Yeah.
And I never got a chance to ask him about it, and I probably never will because he's kind of an asshole. So there's these powwow grounds here in Ponca. It's the Standing Bear Powwow Grounds, and it was a culmination of probably 7 Indian tribes got together, and they wanted to build the statue of Chief Standing Bear and then do a multi-tribe powwow grounds. And so this guy is painting the powwow grounds. They're metal poles that go up with little, like a decorative pergola, like a metal pergola, I would say.
Yeah, kind of like just rafters or just open rafter type of looking pergola deal.
Yeah. So they're painting that red and blue.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know which color it was he was painting, but he was painting and it was kind of a windy day.
And I think the wind was had to have been out of the north.
Yeah, so it's going, and the Phillips 66 refinery is just across the street.
Yeah, but it's across the street a decent ways too.
Yeah, like it's not. I mean, it's across a highway.
Yeah, probably a good quarter mile.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I mean, ish. Well, all of a sudden, my boss was actually the GC over the whole thing, and that was the only like building project that our company really ever did. You know, because we're paving guys, but they were pretty involved in it. So the company I work for GC'd that whole project. Well, he starts getting calls from the refinery. Hey man, there's all these like red speckles on my car. And then he said all of a sudden he goes like 50 people are calling, just like what, you know, and it's a bad deal.
Yeah, so that overspray, that shows you too, man. That stuff had to be so minute just to be lifted up in the air and floating across the highway and getting on all them vehicles.
Yeah.
But so to my point, I could see him just, you know, just he probably listening to music, you know, with the headphones, you know, just little does he know he's causing all that damage. The same as me with that angle grinder down there. You know, I probably had my earbuds in listening to, you know,
listening to the new Fading Fast album.
Yeah, the new Fading Fast is little do I know, dude. I've got a cloud of dust going on inside of the house.
Just like a straight cartoon
dude.
thing.
And then I could see me doing it and somebody, the renter coming up, hey, shut up, dude. I got shit to do. Hey, stop. Dude, I'm tired of this guy bothering me, man. I'm trying to get work done.
So why didn't you use any sort of dust suppression?
You could. I mean, I could have ran a water hose over there and done that, but
It just make a mess, I guess. But
Yeah.
or you know, poke a hole. That's something I've done on that small stuff before. Just poke a hole in a water bottle cap and just kind of.
oh, you've been seeing too many TikToks, dude.
No, we did that because there was one time I've done it with bug sprayers, obviously a lot. Bug sprayers are a good one, but you kind of got to have two people for that. But the water bottle, because I worked for a landscaper for a long time. Well, we were in people's backyards. And I mean, it'd be a little brick paver, you know, this big that we'd have to cut in half to make it fit just right in something. And we would cut those. Well, it'd be kind of that same deal of if we cut this, we're going to get dust all over their patio furniture. Or like we, you know, sometimes we'd see a lady, she'd be out there cleaning her windows while we're working in the backyard. And he goes, dude, you know, she just cleaned her windows. We got to, you know, so we learned some tricks of dust suppression back then.
Well, yeah. Hindsight, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would never think in the position. I mean, if I was in the position you were in, I probably would not have done any sort of dust
Outside, not
suppression.
worried, you know, and plus I would have created a lot of like mud because I got to crawl through this damn thing once
Yeah.
I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the South? Did you ever see the South Park with Captain Hindsight on there?
Yeah.
It's awesome because
Thanks, Captain Hindsight.
yeah, they're trying to rescue people out of a burning building or something, and the firemen don't know how to take care of it. You know who we need to call? We need to call Captain Hindsight, and Captain Hindsight would fly in. Captain Hindsight, what do you think? Well, I think it would have been good if y'all would have had a fire escape over here, and if you had done this and this and that. Man, that's great, Captain Hindsight. Thanks for the man. We couldn't have done this without you know.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you never know. It's like you said, the headphones in. I just wanted to ask that question because I'm sure there's some listener going, "What fucking idiots wouldn't use dust suppression?" You know. These fucking idiots.
That Randy Travis song. They say hindsight's 20/20. You know, what do you do?
What do you do?
But there was a lot of lessons learned on that. Communication, right? Start with the most obvious stuff, even though it wasn't obvious at the time. Start with the obvious stuff first, and then go from there. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's our lesson learned for the week. Until next week.
Oh, and I did want to get a live reaction of you getting your invoice, because boy. So how do you charge for that too? I mean, really?
Yeah, really.
You know
Because you go, because the joke was Casey called me, said, I'm going to send you a hell of an invoice. And I said, I'm going to send you a hell of an invoice for engineering fees for figuring out to check the aerator. Nah, dude, you know it'll all be fair in the end.
Oh, that's good. No, trust me. I'm gonna eat that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do? We eat some humble pie and we move on and we both go, fuck.
Yeah.
Switching gears a little bit, just want to say thanks to whoever gave my wife this dripping coffee mug. Look at that, dude. Isn't that badass? Just a big-ass truck on it. I'm down for that. Big-ass semi. Taking it for a test today. Oh, man. That's still funny.
I got a quick, I know we're random as always, but I got a quick other story also.
Okay.
Another learning lesson. If people have firearms and they think that there's going to come a time that they have to use it against somebody, you need to go out and get your reps in and be proficient with the firearms.
Yeah, we've talked about that several times on the
Well,
show. 100% agree.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the reason why I preface that. I ended up joining that gun and rifle club out west of town, and I went there a couple weeks ago to fire off my little Glock 26. Mm-hmm. And dude, I'm telling anybody that has a pistol or a gun,
I'm guessing you couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
couldn't.
I did that same thing a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Could not.
Yeah.
So this is a long ways. This makes that me talking about that Chad Wright guy hitting from 150 out. He was hitting the silhouette probably, I don't know, it might have been an 18 or 20 inch steel target. But these steel targets that I was shooting at the gun range were probably a 10 inch or so, 10 or 12 inch just circle, right? Mm-hmm. I initially started out at 30 yards, which 30 yards was where you could, set up your guns and stuff. You had your bench and stuff right there.
Iron sights?
Yes, iron sights, right? Didn't have any type of red dot or anything. So I put in my magazine, which it only holds 10. And, I don't know how to really shoot a gun proper, right? So I shoot. Out of those 10 rounds, I might have maybe hit it once. I was like, okay, put in another magazine, same deal. After going through 3 or 4 magazines, I said, dude, out of 3 or 4 magazines, so about 30 or 40 shots, I might have hit it 3 or 4 times out of 30 or 40 shots, right? So I said, all right, dude, I'm going to start out close to the target, then work my way back. So I went 10 yards from the target. And standing from 10 yards, how many times I hit it out of 10 shots? This is 10 yards. This is 30 feet.
I would say probably 4 times.
That might have been stretching it, maybe 2 or 3 times.
Dude, I did the same thing. It was right before rifle season started for deer. I went to the gun range and I hadn't shot my pistol in a while. And I'd heard Chad Wright talking about it. He goes, he's like, man, if you ain't training with your firearms and stuff, he goes, I bet that if you took a pistol out there, you couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, kind of thing. And I was like, man, I bet I'm not that bad.
I know.
Because I got pretty good with, I got a SIG P365. I got pretty good with it when I first got it, but I've barely shot it since I got it, really, other than a few times. And I went out there and ran, my brother and I both were out there, and we put first somebody else kind of had a target there, and we were shooting at it, and I was like, man, I can't tell if we're hitting it or not. So we put our target up. We were just kind of screwing around more than anything. We were mainly just sighting in our rifles, and we got up there, and I was the same way. I was like 20 yards away. I was like, man, this can't be right. So I get closer. I get to like 10 yards. And I'm still just not even hitting the target, dude.
Yep.
And I'm like right on it. And I'm like, dude, this can't be right. So I get up to like less than 10 yards and shooting it. And I'm like finally hitting it. I was like, damn, I need to work.
Yes. And that was my point was, man, you can't just expect to buy something and be, Clint Eastwood, you got to put in the reps and you got to put in good reps.
It's just like anything, man. You got to really do it. And I think we ought to go out there and do some range stuff. I think it'd be fun.
It would be fun. So I probably shot 150 rounds of the 9mm. I had like this Helwin 9mm. It's like an Egyptian replica. I like shooting it also, but out of 150 rounds, anywhere from 10 yards to 20 to 30 where I was at, I probably hit the target 25 or 30 times.
Yeah. We'll work on that. Let's work on that and have a dirty and driven shooting contest.
So the next time we go back, they've got spots to where you can staple up cardboard to 2x4s. And then also I'm going to get some silhouettes to to go again and then actually see where I am missing. And I've done a lot of research too. I mean, there's obviously proper ways to shoot, which I was not shooting proper.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you literally got to, you know, the recoil of that damn gun, you know, you got to control the recoil, and then the trigger pull is very essential. And I think my mess up was, besides all of the above, was my damn trigger pull too, because I was I might have been on target, but then when, you know, I pulled the trigger, that minute amount right here, if you're off, if you pull the trigger and the muzzle goes up just that minute amount right here, it's going to be exponentially big by the time it gets to the target.
Oh yeah. Switching gears just a hair, apologize to anybody who relapsed on nicotine addictions after last week's episode. You know, dude, there's some episodes we record that I go, man, ain't nobody going to listen to this one. And then you get so many messages. I bet that I got more DMs after that last episode than we've ever had of people just being like, damn, dude, you're making me really want to go get some nicotine.
I got quite a few messages too, man. It was a good title too. That was a good title. That said.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson got us.
Dude, I almost left here too. I was literally sitting there like, man, are we really being good influences on people trying to quit nicotine? I don't know. Because literally as I was leaving the studio, I was like, God, I'm about to go buy me a bag of Levi Garrett. I think I didn't have my wallet with me is the only reason I didn't stop and get some.
Well, I got told from our one guy that Rogue, Cinnamon Rogue was they're the same type of, you know, pouches as the Zens is the way to go. So,
yeah, everybody's got their preferences, right? You know, so it's all different. But yeah, it was funny. You know, one person told me, I'd never heard of this. Do you have life insurance?
Yes.
Have you ever had to take a pee test for your life insurance?
No.
Yeah, dude. So one of our listeners hit me up and he was like, he goes, damn, dude. He said, I've quit smoking cigars for a while, and your episode really made me want to get some nicotine. And he goes, but my life insurance agent told me not to do any nicotine for the next 6 weeks. And I was like, why? And he goes, I got to take a pee test for life insurance.
Wow.
I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, they take a pee test and test everything in there. And then if you pop up for like tobacco or nicotine, your rates get higher.
Wow.
And I was like, what? Never even heard of that. I've never heard of somebody taking a pee test like me. At open enrollment time, I just sign up for which life insurance plan I want, and that's it.
Yeah.
It was like, damn. So, I don't know. That was different. So, sorry if we made your life insurance rates go up because we were talking about it the whole episode.
Plus, you saw me doing seeds the other day, too.
Oh, yeah, dude. Whenever I quit vaping, you know, because I talked about that last episode, sunflower seeds were my vice for a while. I would go through so many sunflower seeds. It literally got to the point I couldn't taste anything because I would just chew sunflower seeds all day long working. And all that salt just burned my tongue essentially. I couldn't taste much, especially if I got those Taco Bell ones we were talking about. Yeah, dude. I've been through that. I've been through that big time.
Yeah, Biggs makes the best sunflower seeds, I think. They're usually they seem bigger and they don't have a lot of that stem bull crap.
Yeah.
Boy, there's nothing worse than getting a sour seed.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you can tell that it's sour. You know what I mean? You can, when you go to pop it open in your mouth, you
yeah.
Oh, there's something, but you know, you still power through it. Like, oh, maybe maybe I'm just. Then you end up, dude, it ruins the taste.
I had to go to the after I had that salt issue, I had to go to the Sprouts ones for a while. From Sprouts grocery store, and you know they were whatever. They were like low sodium, different roast. I mean, they were. At first they tasted like shit compared to all those other ones, but once I got used to them, they were pretty good. But I had to get off that stuff with the heavy salt. Like I eat a lot of salt in my diet, but it just got to the point where I literally couldn't taste anything because I just was always chewing sunflower seeds. So, yeah, I would say my biggest vice is coffee, though. Man, I love coffee, and not even that I drink that much. It's just I don't know. That's probably my biggest vice. The way I make it, everything, just love it. That's mine now.
Good for you, man.
Has been for a while.
I can drink coffee, but
I like it, dude. I was having an argument with a guy the other day, because he's a big health nut and all that. And he's like, man, you got to get off the coffee and stuff like that. I was like, I don't want to. And he goes, man, he's like, and we just had a whole conversation about it. I was like, dude, I'm not getting off it. He goes, man, it's just another addiction in your life. And I said, it's not even that I'm addicted to it because I need the caffeine. I said, if coffee sucks, I don't drink it. I said, I just like thoroughly love coffee. Like I've got like 5 different ways in my house to make it. I got a fucking espresso machine that was not cheap. I mean, I'm into it, man. I'm into it.
Seems like you're always arguing with people
I like arguing
about food and this and that. And
well, I mean, you surround yourself with people you want to be like, right? So, I mean, I like...
You want to be like me?
I like the health journey. Oh, yeah. I like the health journey and I like bettering myself, bettering my body and my mind. So I'm also around people that are trying to better their bodies and minds and you have some pretty deep conversations, right?
Yeah.
So. Before we get into our topic here, 45 minutes in, I just wanted to say, if you've been thinking about buying some Dirty and Driven merch, hat, shirt, whatever, we've got a discount code right now running on our website, 10% off of your whole order. If you just use the promo code Dirty and Driven at checkout, 10% off your whole order. So if you want a hat, if you've been looking at hats, stuff like that, then let us know. Also, if you want any merch and you see you don't have my shirt size in stock, just let us know. We'll get one. And I'm going to be real honest, guys. If you look at this merch and you say, James, I really want to rep your shit, but I can't afford it. That's just too much right now. $20-$30 for a shirt or hat or whatever. That's just way too much right now. Let us know, man. We'll see what we can do for you. I mean,
that's a good deal.
You guys support our show, and I appreciate that. And although it's nice to receive monetary support back because we do spend a lot of time and a lot of money on this show, we're not here to take money out of anybody's pockets that doesn't want to give it up. So, I mean, if you have something, I mean, I'm not going to give you free shit because I can't afford to do that. But, I mean, if you tell me, dude, I can't afford a shirt or I can't afford a hat, but I really want one, then just let us know, man. And we'll see what we can do. We'll work with you. And
you can write that off as an advertising expense at the end of the day.
Yeah, it would be if I had this set up as a business properly. Yeah, man. Just keep that in mind. We want you guys to wear our stuff, and we're not trying to take $1 off a working man's back,
Nah. That's a good deal, man.
Yeah.
Like that offer.
Yeah. Also, if you the thank you letters and stickers, if you want a free sticker, that's still on the table. I'm sure there's people that are like, dude, I asked for one in like November and I still haven't gotten it. Well, be patient. All right. We'll still give you a free sticker. We'll still send it to you with a handwritten thank you note as always. But just be patient because again, it's free. If you buy a sticker or if you leave money in the tip jar and ask for a sticker, you'll probably get it pretty quick. Just saying. But yeah. And if you do like the show and you do want to support it, give us a 5-star review, man. That helps us out. That's a free way to support us. You can give us a 5-star review on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, if that's your preferred listening, or wherever you listen to. I think even Facebook, you can give us a 5-star review, wherever, man. That's free ways to support us. But, especially Apple or Spotify, there's a lot of you guys that share the shows. Our most common way, according to whatever the stats or whatever, of people sharing it is through text message. So thanks, guys, for sharing that, sending it to friends. We really appreciate that. That helps us more than you know, and we've just had such explosive growth the last few weeks and months, and we appreciate that, man. So we're trying to help people, and we're trying to have fun doing it. So keep that in mind that every time you share that, it really helps us out. And if you want to give money in the tip jar, we're not begging for it, but if you like what we're doing, consider giving us $1 or $2 or $5 or $10 or $20 or whatever you want to give. It just lets us know we're doing a good job and to keep going.
Oh, and on the shipping and receiving, we need to talk with the shipping and receiving department manager. Can he come in? Can he get on the mic real quick? All right, and the HR department, bring in the HR manager also, the guy over human resources. Yeah, I'm the HR guy.
Yeah. Quit being a bitch. That was like, I know we talk about First Form a lot, but they made a video a couple of years ago, and they were like, we just hired our first HR guy, and it was like a guy with a mohawk and piercings and tattoos, and a guy comes in and he goes, and they said what to you? He told you to quit being a little crybaby bitch? I can't believe that. You really do need to stop being a little crybaby bitch.
Yeah.
That's funny. Anyways, guys, let's get into our topic, man. This far into it, we might as well start talking about something.
80-20. 80% BS, 20%.
Yeah, it's as my old high school football coach would call it, the diamond in the goat's ass. Oh, man. So I've noticed, I know that I've gotten a lot more applications across my desk lately, and I know that I've seen a lot more people coming through the doors. Just springtime, nice weather. I'm sure that there's other states with a little nicer climates that are probably already in full swing or getting ready to be. But yeah, summertime's upon us, springtime's upon us. It's about time to start hiring people. It's about time to start finding a new job. If you've been laid off, maybe it's time to go back to work. Maybe you're not getting the hours. Maybe you guys have had a bad winter and you're switching, or whatever your case may be. Maybe you're sitting at a job and you're like, man, I'm not progressing at all. How do I get to that point? Well, man, we talk to the employers a lot, but it's a lot of employees listening. So let's just talk about some things that make a person a good, marketable employee. The kind of guy that a employer looks at and goes, I want to make sure this cat is taken care of. They're happy here, and I want to get them on some equipment, or I want to teach them this skill. I want them to be in charge of something. I want them to be responsible for something. I don't want them just sitting here doing the bottom of the totem pole, flagging, scraping the bins kind of stuff. I want them doing some important stuff for me because I know that I can trust this guy. How do you become that guy? You know, that's what we're talking about today. So, man, what would you think the AO, this is hard for a lot of guys.
See?
What would you think the AO number one, in my book, in my eyes, the AO number one thing of just being baseline, trustworthy, and all right, I want to take care of you, or at the very least, I can trust you to do more than just bottom rung stuff. What would you think the first thing that a guy would need to do to be that?
Be coachable.
Even before that.
Show up.
Yeah.
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 Walk through the door, like we said earlier.
Just get there, you know, dude. Yeah, dude. I cannot tell you, and I know we talk about this a lot, but I cannot tell you how hard it is. And I don't even want to say this generation. It's everybody. It's all ages. From 18 years old on up to 60 years old, man. I see this. I see guys that, you know, you tell them in the interview, you tell them your first day of work, look, dude, you got to be here. All right? This isn't daycare. You don't get to pick and choose. You know, you got to be here. Now, look, this is what I tell people. If you have a doctor's appointment, you know, communication, right? If you have a doctor's appointment, if your kids are sick, if you have a vacation coming up, if you have whatever, yeah, man. But just let us know. Like, or, okay, if something happens and, you know, XYZ, you know that tonight you're not going to be in tomorrow because you had something happen with your family. Don't wait till 7 a.m. to call into work, you know. Let somebody know, text someone, say, hey, you know, sorry, last minute, but here. And don't make a habit of that, but just show up, dude, and be on time. Like, you don't have to be an hour early like some of the old farts are, but just show up and be on time, right? That's so important. And a lot of people they just pick and choose when they want to work anymore.
Well, a lot of people too is, I mean, it's a detriment to them. I mean, obviously if you care about providing for your family, right, then meaning you have to work in order to get a paycheck. If you really cared about that, then you would show up.
Yeah.
If you're not showing up, you're showing up late and stuff, then obviously you don't care that much about the responsibilities that you have taking care of your family.
Yeah, dude. And I don't understand how a lot of people live, dude. I mean, I've seen guys, not necessarily where I'm at, but where, other companies where, they're so desperate to have anybody that they let people get away with it, right? And they'll be gone at least, that they're going to be gone at least one day a week.
Yeah.
Maybe more. Yeah. And that when they do show up, they're going to be late. And it's like, dude, I don't know how these cats are paying their bills.
But and that's the deal, man. Who are we to judge? Who am I to judge you and your lifestyle? And who are we to judge the people that get that paycheck like we talk about, then they don't work for a week or two until the money runs out, then they show, you know what I mean?
I mean, as your employer, that's who I am to judge. I mean, if you're not showing up, if I'm counting on you.
Yes.
We talk about accountability a lot, right? You have to be accountable and dependable. Like you can't, if you sit here and you say, I'm the hardest worker here, and I've seen this, dude, guys running their mouths saying, I'm the hardest worker here, and yet I'm doing the bottom level stuff, and I have been for 6 months. Well, guess what, dude? You might be a hard worker when you're here.
Yeah.
But if you can't be counted on to show up, how can you ever expect to level up, right? You're not going to, because it's going to be, well, shit, man, he can't even get here. I can't trust him with this operation or this machine or this task, because if he's doing something of that importance, if he's a critical path guy and he calls in once a week and I never know what day he's calling in or anything, then our whole operations takes a hit because I don't know if he's going to show up or not.
Yeah, and those accountable guys, they will get rewarded.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's an employer management. They're not blind to someone who's a stud.
Even if you hate your job, dude, like you hate where you're at, you still have to practice these skills we're getting ready to talk about. But especially this one, still show up, still do it. I mean, again, like I know that there's some bad employers out there that you say, I have a doctor's appointment. They say, well, reschedule it. We need you today. Reschedule it. Or I have a vacation plan. Oh, we need you to work next week. Oh, we can't do it. Well, your vacation's denied. There's guys like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it. And those people should not be in business. And they won't be. They won't be because they won't be able to get guys. But you still have to practice the skills of just showing up, right?
Is that even a fucking skill to practice?
For some people it is, man.
Practice a skill to show up? Hey, I can see, give me a list of 10 skills that you're good at. Number one, showing up. That's a skill?
I can't tell you how many people in an interview have told me,
man, look how good
I'm here, dude. I'm here every day. I'm on time.
That's like whenever you watch Maury Povich or something and they're talking about, I take care of my kid. Dude, you're supposed to take care of your kids. That's part of being a parent.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, dude, look at these skills, man. This dude, out of anybody here who shows up, this guy's the best at showing up.
I'm the showingest-uppest.
That's the number one, dude. His skill at showing up, dude.
Yeah, that's a big skill. I mean, I hate to even say it's a skill, but dude, it is anymore, right? And it probably has been forever. I mean, my limited perspective, I mean, I've only been in the workforce for 10, 11 years now, but there's always people who they can't show up, dude. For whatever reason, they can't be on time. It's every job I've ever worked at, there's always people like that. They either miss a lot, they call in a lot, they can't show up. It's crazy. So, but as a company, you got to have a high standard too, and just let them know quick that, hey man, that's not acceptable, and we ain't gonna fuck with that.
That's it, man. You got to set a precedent too.
And I mean, you can't fire somebody, but you can coach them up, right? So that leads us into the next point. You said be coachable, right?
No.
I put that in a little more vulgar term of shut the fuck up and listen. Because a lot of those guys that are like that, right? I'm the hardest worker here. I'm the biggest and bestinest. Well, dude, nobody knows it all.
Yeah.
You got to be coachable. Whether you've been experienced and you're good and you're even hired on to be a critical path guy like that, you still haven't worked for this outfit, this operation. You could be doing the same exact job you did for another guy, but you still haven't done it. In fact, I have a good example of that. We hired a guy. He worked for a paving company in another town, and he moved here, so now he's working for us. Well, he's asking questions about the way we do things, and he goes, man, it's a lot different. I mean, you look at it, and from an outsider's perspective, it's still just paving a highway, right?
Right.
Well, he goes, man, it's a lot different here. I've got a lot to learn. And he asks questions, and he learns, and he's very coachable. He shuts up. He doesn't go, oh, I know how to do all this. I've already done it. I've been doing it for 5 years for somebody else. No, dude. I mean, I've been training him myself. Other people have been training him. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay. I've got a lot to learn. I see. You guys do it different, and it's cool. I like the way you guys do it. It's just, not better, not worse. It's just different. So,
a lot of times you can find out real quick, too, if someone's bullshitting you.
yeah. Oh, dude. See, that's one thing that I've learned is like in an interview, people bullshit you all the time. And I've refined my interview process a lot. And that's something that I've used from personal experience that I use with our Dirty and Driven consulting on interview processes, because the interview is so important. And I've gotten very picky on interviews, and I've gotten a lot better screening process down, because there's been a lot of people that it's just, well, we don't know what kind of a worker they are. Everybody's going to bullshit you. Let's just hire them and find out, And sometimes you're still going to get that no matter what. But yeah, you got to really ask a lot of questions in the interview and ask about them as people and stuff like that. And I've interviewed enough guys and I've hired enough guys that didn't work out that I've kind of seen the red flags that a lot of interviewees have that end up being really bad, because everybody talks a good game in an interview, right?
Yeah.
And then you get them in there and you're like, this guy kind of sucks.
Yeah, and hopefully they're going to mesh good with the work group.
That's the most important thing. I'd take a guy with zero experience but a good attitude,
yes,
and gets along with the crew, over a guy that has been on equipment and knows kind of what he's doing but has a terrible attitude and can't work with the crew.
I'd mentioned that to you, too, about that SEAL Team 6 story that Rob O'Neill talked about, to where in order to get on that team, they're already qualified. They've already went through SEAL training, all that. They're good, but the vetting process was like a couple months of him just hanging out with the SEAL Team 6 guys for them to see how he was going to just mesh as a coworker with them.
Yeah.
Because if he wasn't going to mesh, then they're probably going to kick him out. Yeah. So that's when they talk about a lot of times, if you are going through a hiring process, maybe take that potential employee, take them out, or potential worker, take them out to lunch. Have them run around with a guy for the afternoon, just nonchalant bullshitting.
Yeah, just hang out.
Yeah.
No, dude, that's a good call if you can do that. I know a lot of bigger companies can't do that and stuff, but especially if you're a small 2, 3, 4-man outfit, if you can get somebody and just give them a trial day of will they mesh with us, especially in an outfit that small, which is a majority of our listeners, and it's probably a majority of most companies, is just that small 3, 4, 5-man crew. Man, if you get a guy that's just a total suck, then it doesn't work.
Because if you have somebody, you'll get past that honeymoon stage real quick.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you'll really find out how that person is once they let their guard down.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, just shut up and listen, man. Even if you're the most experienced guy on site, again, you haven't worked with that outfit and you haven't worked with that operation. And also, I mean, if you are an employer, you can't look at this guy and say, "Oh, he's got all this experience, I'm just going to let him loose." You still need to work with him and coach him and kind of, even if you've seen what he's made of as just skills wise, you've still got to work with him on how you do things. Yeah. And it might be different. So, but just shut up and listen. Nobody knows it all, and nobody expects you to know it all. So don't think that saying "I don't know" is going to hurt you. People respect that more whenever you say "I don't know," or "Hey, how do we do this?" or "What, I'm not comfortable doing this skill. Can you help me out here?" Like, nobody's going to diss that. And they will probably respect it because they'll say, "Okay, yeah, let's teach you how to do it." And nobody wants to teach a know-it-all. Because if you sit here, if I'm trying to explain something to you and you always cut me off and you're like, "Well, oh yeah, I do that. I know that." It's like, I'm going to quit talking. You know it all. Do it. And I'm sure that we all get like that at times.
Dude.
I know I do.
There's people, I think we all have people in our lives that they've been there, they've done it, they've the know-it-alls.
Oh, yeah, dude. We had a truck driver work for us one time. And he was kind of one of those that I kind of saw some red flags in the interview, but I didn't really think too much of him. He interviewed decent, but dude, the guy was just a windbag and he just pissed everybody off. It's not that he was an asshole. He knew it all. He'd done it all. He was, according to him, he was Cat Master Tech certified, Harley Davidson Master Tech certified. He had played in a big rock and roll outfit. He played steel. He used to, what was it? He was on some show where they work on diesel mechanics in Joplin. He was on, he was a roadie for Kiss and knows Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley personally and partied at their house. He, what else did he do? He gave David Allen Coe a place to stay one time because his bus got burned down, and David Allen Coe gave him a Rebel Flag guitar, and what else? I don't know. A lot of stuff, a lot of stories, and it's like, why are you here, man? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing here?
Those are pretty cool stories, though.
I'll tell you what, he's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's all they were stories. I don't think any of them were true.
Yeah.
But but he just pissed everybody off, and just knew everything. Couldn't talk to him. Just full of shit.
Well, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on.
That's true.
Well, it depends on who's doing the pissing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The next thing, dude, and again, these are things that I go, who raised you? But be respectable, man. Like, if you were to go interview for a job today, would you show up wearing like a shirt with the F word on it? Or a cutoff, just ragtag looking stuff? Especially if you're going to like a big outfit, not a farm or something like that.
Yeah, I've got a perfect example. There was a guy that worked for us that he was a contractor for this position that he was potentially going to get hired for. So he was a contractor for us, but then this position opened to where they were going to make it a position for the company, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of subcontracting it out, it's going to be this position, right? And he had been doing it for years. Everybody knew him, and he pretty much figured he was a shoo-in. So when he went in for the formal interview process with the supervisors and all that, he went in with a ripped up shirt, ripped up pants, because he knew everybody. He even put his feet up, kind of one of those, sat in back of the chair, hat on sideways, didn't respect the opportunity for it because he figured he was a shoo-in, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? He didn't get the job.
Yeah.
And I'm serious, if he would have went in just for that one chance, you only get one shot type of attitude, with a somewhat decent shirt tucked in, whatever, respected the opportunity, he probably would have got the job.
Dude, I've interviewed a lot of different blue collar positions, laborers, truck drivers, you name it, all of them, and operators, all that. And there's just and I've learned that these guys that come in with that kind of stuff in an interview, because again, I've made some hiring mistakes, and I've learned that those people, like one time a guy walked in, he was wearing it was Buck Fiden hat, right? That's what it said. And it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't obvious. It had like a little buck on it. It took me a while to even notice it. And he seemed like a good interview. And he really was. And he worked, but he worked one day and he did a good job. He was a hard worker and never heard from him again. Never heard from him again. And then, there was another time a guy walked in wearing a shirt that said, it was a Trump 2020 shirt. It said, "Fuck the liberals." And look, dude, I don't care where your political leaning is or anything like that. Yeah, you're going to work for a construction company. People are probably on the same impression as you are. But whenever you wear that to a job interview,
Yeah.
you're not getting hired.
Yeah.
And he was an experienced guy, but he thought that because he had experience and all that, he could go in. Then he's asking for double what the industry rate around here is, per hour. And you're just like, nah, dude, like you ain't that. So, I think I told the guy, I was like, look, dude, if you're serious about this, I was like, for one, we're not paying you what you're asking for because that's just absolutely absurd amount rate in this area. He was probably moving here from the East Coast or something, but I was like, that's just an absolutely absurd amount to be asking for. But I said, if you're really serious about this job, leave, change shirts, come back. And like, I get that there's guys that they come in from work.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll call them and say, hey, do you want to interview with? Yeah. Well, I can come in today. I'm working, but I can come in right after. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. People come in, they're dirty, right?
Yeah.
But they're respectable, right? It's like, yeah, you've been working. I get it. I'm not judging you based on your formal wear. It's just like, that's a different type and that's respectable. It's like, okay, yeah, you're dirty from work. But if, you walk in, like I've had guys come in too where they're wearing paint stained fucking gym shorts and Osiris skater shoes and a cutoff shirt that's stained and you can tell they haven't showered in probably 4 days. You go, no. So just be respectable and have manners. I don't want to hear, in an interview or on your first day on the job, like, I don't want to hear all your stories about the weekend at the strip club.
I might.
Well, just not first, like during, your employee orientation and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe get past the first hour.
Ease it in.
Yeah, ease it in. I mean, once you mesh with the crew and all that, sure. All right, tell your stories. But yeah, there's some goofballs, man. Just be respectable. Have some manners. Shake a firm handshake. Goes a long ways. Not a dead fish. I don't like the dead fish. I don't trust a lot of people that'll dead fish handshake. You know what I mean? Firm handshake. Be respectful. Be just presentable. I'm not saying wear fancy, nice, expensive clothes, or just look the part. So
well, it's good that those show up like that with the shitty shirts and stuff, because that instead of you finding out, a week or two or a month down the line that they're going to be a potentially bad employee, they got it.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then pretty much, there's only two more points I really have, as far as just being a good employee. And then we'll summarize everything and wrap this thing up. But, ask questions, man. Ask questions and show your willingness to learn. People that ask questions, and not in a combative way of, why the fuck do you do it this way? But just like, I used to drive my first boss crazy. I would always ask him, he'd be like, well, we're going to do this and that, and we're going to do it this way. And I would always and I had to learn how to ask why, but I would always say, why? Because he'd be like, we're doing it this way. And I'd go, why? He'd be like, because, it gets to the point, it's hot outside, 100 degrees or whatever. He goes, because I said so, James. Yeah. Why are you? I was like, no, I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm genuinely wondering why. He's like, what's your tone? You just sound like such a punk. Why? Why? I was like, okay. So I had to start asking, like, how come we do it that way? And sometimes he'd hit me with well, how else would we do it? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how the process works here. This is all new to me, right? So I would just ask so many questions, and I've always been like that, and I still do. And I think that's, you start asking questions and people go, okay, I like this guy.
Yeah, nothing better than, like we said, someone that's curious.
Yeah. Well, it's like you were talking about one time, you said there's nothing more rewarding than somebody wanting to learn and you being able to teach them. You have knowledge on a subject and somebody wants to learn, you pouring into them.
Yeah.
Man, I had that experience last week. Like I said, I've been training this guy that he's been in the paving business for 5 years, and I've been training him on the roller and stuff like that. And he wants to learn. He's asking questions. He's paying attention. Everything, man. And it's so rewarding to see him doing this stuff. A position he hasn't really done too much, and learning and asking questions and getting pretty proficient at it pretty quick. That was a great feeling.
Yeah, and I was thinking of the name of the guys who drive the rollers. You can call those guys dogs.
Roller dogs.
Roller dogs.
Roller dogs.
You like it?
Oh, yeah. Roller dog or a smooth operator.
Yeah.
Operating the smooth machine.
Where my dog's at.
Where my dog's at. Where the roller dog's at. Yeah. And then just learn outside of work too. Like if you want to learn how to run a machine or somebody says, well, maybe you can learn how to do that. Dude, YouTube, Google.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot of things, at least to get a baseline knowledge, learn some terms. Maybe you're brand new to the construction world. You don't even know how to say excavator. You don't know what any of these things are. Maybe you're learning another skill like electricity, plumbing, HVAC stuff, anything like that. Just learn some basic terms and tools and what everything is. Just Google it, man. There's so much you can, just from, if you spent 5-10 minutes a day, hell, dude, even if you just want to scroll TikTok and just watch, anymore, that's a valuable thing. You can scroll TikTok. Now, you got to pick and choose your information that's good or bad, but you can still just, you can look up, anything. I'm trying to just think of a good specific example, but if you're having plumbing, if you're going to go into the plumbing business, you can look up just basic plumbing stuff and you can watch little 10 to 30 second clips and do that for 10, 20 minutes. And you will learn enough.
I do that all the time. I've talked about reading, dude. Obviously I can read, right? Don't you think?
Can you read and write?
But obviously I can read, correct?
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I'm on my phone doing my stuff, yeah, there's cool, but a lot of it's just maintenance repair stuff. And that old algorithm, they talk about it, but if you follow it, you'll get enough of that stuff pumped to you, just different things. And I'll go in there and a lot of times I'll read the comments, and the majority of the time the comments are pretty spot on. No, that's not how we did it. We did it this, and then there'll be side conversations going on to where you can really narrow down and refine, how to troubleshoot and fix stuff.
And there's always more than one way to skin a cat too.
Exactly. But it's great. There's stuff. It's so different nowadays compared to back when I was a kid, but it's right there at your fingertips.
Yeah, and you can scroll it in an engaging way and watch these videos and learn so much. Just like I said, just knowing the terminology. Okay, I get old guys telling me stuff all the time that I go, dude, I would never have learned that in school or on social media, or nobody's talking about that little tip.
Yeah.
You learn stuff like that all the time that is probably unfortunately going to get lost to history. Yeah. But golly, dude, you can at least, if you can have an educated conversation with whatever skill it is you're trying to learn, especially if there's a guy who's been doing it for 50 years, if you can have an educated conversation and keep up with what he's telling you and actually understand the baselines, that guy will, even if he's an old grumpy slough, I bet he's willing to tell you some information.
Yeah. At least he won't write you off too as, a know-it-all or some guy that doesn't know anything,
I've seen these guys, that you get a guy in there with just some basic borderline knowledge that's willing to ask questions. Those old sucks will sit there and they'll go, this kid's not bad, really. He's asking questions. He's doing. I like him, And these are guys that hate everybody, So that you can definitely make your way that way. I said those are the last 2 points, but I realized I did skip one. But that's basically just be patient. If you're an employee and let's say you've worked for a company a few months, or you're starting at a new company. Even if you're starting a new company and you've had previous experience, man, it's not going to happen overnight. Okay. You need to be patient. And not only that, but vocalize where you kind of want to go. If you've been somewhere spend a few weeks or a couple months doing just whatever you're kind of told to do, ask questions. And then if you see somewhere that you want to eventually get to, talk to your supervisor, your foremans, your superintendents, your project managers, whoever that person is in charge of that, and say, hey, man, I like labor and it's pretty cool, and I know I got to do this for a certain amount of time, but I'd really like to be a track hoe operator. And that's really something that I would like to do, because they're probably not going to ask you. Hopefully a good company will ask you what you want to do and where you want to go, but most people aren't. They're hiring you and putting a shovel in your hand and saying, go for it. So if you realize that that's where you want to go, say, man, I really want to learn this. And they might sit there and tell you, all right, man, well, after you clock out tonight, then go back in the yard and play around in some rock piles, or Go talk to this guy and ask him some questions. Let's go, maybe we'll get you loading some trucks one day. Like, just be patient. Remind them that those goals every so often, because sometimes it's hard to break away and train. Okay. You know me, I push training hard, but I also know that some outfits, it's hard to get to that point. Right. So, you might have to do some after hours. You may have to put in a little extra work. You may have to, like I said, research some stuff on your own, but be patient, vocalize your goals. Don't just work there for a couple months and say, man, they're not getting me where I want to go. Just know that things take time.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And I'm not saying if the place sucks and all that, don't leave and go somewhere else, but just know that the grass ain't always greener on the other side. It may seem like it is, but it ain't always.
Yeah.
So, no, man. So just in summary, the 6 points I basically wrote down, obviously these aren't gospel, but these are the 6 points that we came up with, were show up and be on time, shut up and listen, be respectable, be patient and vocalize your goals, ask questions, and be willing to learn outside of working hours.
Is it be respectable or be respectful?
Be respectable.
What's the difference?
I feel like respectful is part of being respectable. Respectable is like, I can respect you. I can look at you and say, you're a good candidate.
But being respectable means personally, people are looking at you as being respectable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But respectful.
Sure, they go hand in hand.
But respectful is an outward. You're respecting others.
Yeah, and if you're respectable, you're probably respectful as well,
Okay.
right?
So you're talking about people having respect for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I never even thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I haven't either, but yeah.
I was consciously having the gears turning.
Well, being respectable. That's look, dressing all right.
Yeah, I got you.
Clean shirt at the interview, right? Good manners, asking questions. You're not a dick, not being an asshole, being respectable.
No, that was good. I got you.
So, would you have anything you'd add on that?
No. Yeah. Just be a good person.
Yeah. Well, I mean on all those points, not just respectable. Anything you'd add?
But we all know how to be good people. You know what I mean?
I don't know if we do, though. I don't know that everybody does.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I like to think that, but then I meet people and go, what?
I have a, what is it? How you can look at yourself. You know what I mean? What was it called?
Reflection?
Yeah, self-reflection to where, how do people view you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, dude, I know that I'm a dick. I need to not be a dick.
Yeah. Somebody told me one time, they said, somebody had said something to me that really rubbed me the wrong way. And I went and talked to their upper, is another construction company. And I was like, man, this guy is really pissing me off. And, you kind of need to get this guy in check. And he did make a good point. He goes, well, look, man, I don't know the validity or the trueness of those statements, but he goes, just know that if that thought is there, if for whatever reason they think that about you, even if it's not true, there's a reason that they perceive that to be true.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right. And that stuck with me because I was like, okay, because what he said was not true, but I was kind of seeing like, okay, I can see where he would perceive this to be true.
Yeah.
So here's some adjustments I need to make in order for him to not think this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's kind of how it is, Anyways, you got any final thoughts on all this?
Yeah. A little tidbit I found out. I was talking to James before the show that everybody that tries to get away from plastics and stuff, keep in mind I found out that all aluminum cans are lined with a thin layer of plastic or epoxy resin. So keep that in mind. Google it. Look it up.
Do your research. That's
Do
crazy.
your research. So you're still getting your phthalates. I think that's what it's called. Your microplastics.
Microplastics, yeah.
So.
Dang, man. Here I was.
So for every beer that you drink, also even or if you're not or pop or energy drink or whatever it is, there's still a thin film of plastic protecting the aluminum from the acidic product.
Huh. Crazy, man.
Look at it. Google it. Look it up.
We did.
Oh, yeah.
We spent like 20 minutes before the show looking it up.
I blew my mind, man. I mean, it makes sense.
Me too.
Never thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
I know it's a weird thing to wrap up on, but
yeah, I like that. Any final thoughts? Yeah, dude. There's plastic in aluminum cans. Okay.
yeah. Well, I knew we were going to talk about it, but
Yeah.
at the end.
Well, hey, shout out to everybody who's out there pushing it. I know life's hard right now, and I know that things are about to heat up. Speaking of plastic bottles, crushing them over here in the microphone. I know things are about to heat up. Spring's coming. Work's about to pick up if it hasn't already. And I know that money's tight for a lot of people, and it's going to be an election year, so I'm sure it's going to be even harder for you. But
politics.
Man, the best way to prepare for hard things is by doing hard things.
Yeah,
so
and vote red this election season.
vote for whoever you think is the best political candidate.
There you go.
I don't really subscribe to political parties myself.
Oh, yeah.
I vote for whoever the best candidate is. So there's a lot of douchebags that are Republicans. Just throwing that out there.
Well, if you want more money in your pocket, you know how to vote.
Just saying, there's a lot of people that are not good that are running for either party. Both parties are fucked up.
Here we go, hedging.
Both parties are fucked up. Just
We
keep
call that
in mind.
a fence. You know, a guy straddling the fence.
Why do you have to be one or the other? Why do you have to pick a side?
Why does it have to be black or white?
Yeah.
I see shades of gray.
50 of them.
Yeah.
But no, man, the only way to be ready for hard things, to prepare your life and your body and your family for hard things is by doing hard things. So challenge yourself mentally and physically today, tomorrow, every single day. I'm going to advise you as your official Dirty and Driven doctor to do something hard today.
Well, by God.